What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now Plus. I'm Alex, and in this video, I want to talk about my impressions on that Far Cry 6 gameplay reveal, the show, all that good stuff. We're gonna jump right in. I really, before I start, and this is not like the promotion thing like I do on the main channel, I do just want to quickly talk about that stupid countdown. For the love of God, people made some pretty funny comments on my Twitter, but one of them saying, Kyra Khan saying, that Ubisoft always copies, but they always copy like the wrong thing, or they always copy something wrong. That, in a nutshell, is what happened. I don't like these countdowns to a countdown to a reveal. The way Horizon did it yesterday, I think, was fine, specifically because they said when the show was going to be, and then they said, oh, well, we're going to have like a pre-show. Now, the pre-show was just like the countdown with all those visuals, but they at least told us to separate them. They didn't actually say, oh, it's going to start at 9:30, Pacific time, and then it gets to 9:30, and they say, oh, well, it's another half an hour away. So that was incredibly stupid, bad taste, and I think literally everybody who was watching's mouth. But when they actually showed the game, no, I'm really impressed. Now, one thing I want to make very clear that I've said in the past, and even I said back last year when the game was first announced, Far Cry has always been one of those games that I cannot get into. And now, this one I hope is really going to be the first one that I do. But it's like I've played three. I played certain parts of several of them, but 3 was the first one I jumped in. I played 4, Primal, 5. Like, I played parts of all of these games more recently, but it's just never been a franchise that I can get behind. For whatever reason, it just doesn't stick with me. And I try to pride myself, on liking different kinds of games and being a fan of these different kinds of games. But what I like about 6 so far is that, the first trailer, even though it was a CG trailer, completely sold me on it. This completely sold me on it. It looks good. It looks rough around the edges, and maybe that's because we're used to seeing Horizon and Ratchet and Clank and some of these games, so it doesn't look like the greatest thing of all time, but it definitely looks really, really nice. Like most things in that gameplay, I think, especially the gameplay, I think actually really stood out in terms of visual. But look, they got me with the story. They got me with the cast. I mean, Giancarlo is absolutely incredible. So they got me with the villain. They got me with the and then this one, they really set up the premise. Who we are, why are we doing this? What's going on? What's the overall goal? Building basically your guerrilla forces. And that, I've talked about games that kind of keep it simple, but even though it is just because it's simple doesn't mean it's like dumb. You're not dumbing it down. It's simple, but it's really effective. So, the way they've handled it. Now the game could come out and it could be the exact opposite, and I could, all this could be wrong, but it feels like, okay, premise, very easy to understand, very easy to get behind. Everything seems very simple, and that's a good thing. I love the guerrilla tactics way that they're handling it. It seems very, very creative. I do like the games Bulletstorm obviously kind of gives you, kind of praises you for your creativity with kills. Games like Resistance obviously, or even Ratchet and Clank, Insomniac in general, are very good at just weaponry, making very different kinds of weapons and all that stuff. And this one, I mean, obviously this is not Insomniac, but no, it looks good. All the different weapons, when they're talking about batteries, using batteries to charge guns, and all these different parts look very, because honestly, when I'm loading or reloading a gun and I'm shooting it in a game, I truly don't I don't care about the gun. That goes to my downfall with games like Battlefield and stuff, where it does actually matter, but I normally don't pay attention to it. It looks crisp, it always looks nice, the sound of just putting in the magazines and stuff always sound good, and you kind of can notice when they don't sound good, but the detail in the guns and the different parts of the guns are something I don't pay attention to, but they stand out in this game. So I love it. I love and then just the variety of it. It looks really good. And again, I like the idea of kind of being a group of very few against a group of many, and more sophisticated weapons, and kind of fighting from literally what a guerrilla, what guerrilla forces are, right? You have less people, maybe you have more creativity in terms of how you attack, in terms of how you use the environment, in terms of your weaponry, but they're not the most sophisticated. They're not the most advanced weaponry, right? You're playing from a position of weakness. So, and that's the history of what that means. But no, I think from what we've seen, looks insanely insanely good. So, there's not too much more, honestly, I can say about it. It really goes back to last year. It sold me on that first trailer. This sold me. This is going to hurt. I'm going to be flat out honest with you guys. Again, I know people love 3 because of Voss and all that stuff, and I know Far Cry is a very loved franchise. That says definitely had ups and downs recently. They had after 3, they haven't all been good, but it's a loved franchise, and it's just something I cannot, for whatever reason. Racing games, I'm never going to be good at them. Really, I'm not really into them. Fighting games, I'm very bad at them, but I very much appreciate, and I still buy them. I have the Injustices, I have Mortal Kombat, but I'm bad at them. But I respect them, and I still like playing them. I don't know why with Far Cry. It's just a game I could never get into. I just didn't like literally how it feels. I think it's literally the feel of weapons and moving around and all that stuff. But I love the environment. They kind of talked about being on the island and what that means to the environment. I love it. Sold on the looks, sold on the environment, sold on the premise, sold on the villain. So all that stuff is I'm really gonna be hurt, I think, if I play it. And it's probably my own fault. It's just it's not even my own fault. It's not like I'm a terrible person. It's that it's just maybe not. I'm not the kind of gamer that likes that kind of stuff. So we'll have to see. But I'm gonna be hurt if I buy this game day one, which obviously they gave the date for October 7th. Day one buy easily, right? I'm gonna be hurt if I play it day one. I'm like, you know what? I can't get behind it again. So hopefully I am, and hopefully I'll have good things to say about it. When I actually play it. So let me know, guys, in the comments below. What'd you think? What'd you think of the countdown to the countdown? What'd you think of the what we actually saw of it? Are you gonna get it day one? All that stuff, let me know. As always, make sure you guys are subscribed, bell icon turned on so you know all these videos go up, and I'll see you all on tomorrow's video.